Here we are. Emilio's favorite saying of all time, the greatest podcast, the longest running podcast in the history of wrestling podcasts. If you try to call me out on that, I still am going to believe, besides the fact, the king, the godfather of the beginning of them, Colt Cabana. But I think right behind him, a strong number two, is Talking Shop. The boys are back. The big LG's missing in action right now. He's flying home from Phoenix. We'll get deep into his story in just a second because he's got kind of a funny one today. But Karl Anderson here, the machine gun, live on StreamYard with my special guest, the greatest editor in wrestling history, the great Balls Deep Billy, Emilio Medugno.
The greatest number two in the history of number twos, Talking Shop, baby.
The greatest number two in the history of number two. The very volatile, like Bitcoin. Emilio.
What was my cousin was telling me, I literally just left my cousin, and he was telling me he lost like 60 grand in some other coin because there was some tax evasion thing and it like shut down, and he lost like 60 grand. He was sick over it.
I don't like that. So since we're going to go right into the investing talk, welcome everyone to Talking Shop. Welcome to the new boys. The sober boys are sitting here talking. We talk money. We talk cryptids.
This is what we talk.
We talk a little bit of wrestling here and there.
Even in the group chat, it's all about money.
Yeah. So I don't enjoy big risk with money. Now, if you want huge gains, you got to have a little bit of risk. Just like Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says, you can't be a chicken. So you got to put a little bit of money somewhere for it to pop off. Now, this altcoin stuff, that's why I was trying to have Satoshi Nakamoto on Talking Shop because he was going to give us a little insight, aka Satoshi Rocky Romero. He understands the altcoin season, the shitcoin season is in those terms, which I don't fully understand them yet. So I've heard. So I just heard that Elon Musk posted a picture of Pepe the Frog, which is Pepe the Frog, which is a meme coin. He posted Pepe's picture on his Twitter, on his X, and that popped something that popped someone to make someone that invested $66 into whatever coin he put up there. I think it was Pepe, but it couldn't have been because I would be a multi-millionaire from that as well. So whatever coin he put up, the guy invested $66. He made $3 million.
How? But how? How does that happen?
And do we even really understand what these meme / altcoins even are?
No, we don't.
No. And that's why.
Do we have any finance brothers or sisters that listen to this pod that can email us or come on the show and explain to us what we can invest in?
Exactly. Exactly. So from what I'm understanding is Bitcoin is legit, is an actual, I would say Bitcoin would be your full-time retirement asset that will stick with you and will always appreciate. It's going to always gain you money as the years go on. But there's something about this season right now, which is every 4 or 5 years, 4 and 5 years, is when Bitcoin starts to underperform for some reason, and these little meme coins come flying up. Pepe the Frog flies up, Solana flies up, Cardano flies up.
Hawk to a
coin would have flown up, but something went off the air with that, or something went off the radar with that. FET is a coin that's supposed to fly up. And I've been reading about these, and I threw a little bit of money in this one and a little bit of money in this one and a little bit of money in that one. And they've gone, for the most part, they've gone down, but that's because it's not quote unquote meme coin season. So yeah, before we bore anybody to tears that don't understand, because no one understands it, we need someone to come explain this stuff to us.
Yeah. Now, whether it's Satoshi Romero or whether it's, a financial advisor please come on the show, email the Machine Gun, and let's have you on because
Email the team.
we need
Email the team and let's figure it out. So Gallows, I said, Big LG, we got to jump on a podcast when you get home from SmackDown. Can you let me and Balls Deep know, and we need to hop on and figure this out because we haven't released one in a week because it's been busy. We've been busy. Stuff's been going on. He said, yeah, I'd love to, but I just missed my flight in Phoenix, Arizona. So he's got a little bit of his own heat that he is dealing with right now. He did not wake up. He said the power was out, and that's the reason why he missed his flight. Doesn't matter why he missed his flight. We'll take it from there. Emilio, Balls Deep, what is going on with you? How have you been? Give me some news, babe.
Just hanging, living life, doing that Machine Gun Karl Anderson workout at the gym.
How was your Christmas? You're a very religious man.
Yes. It was very Jesus-y. We went, did the masses. Said the prayers, lit the candles. Celebrated the birth of the babe. That's what we did.
I like the very Jesus-y.
It was very Jesus-y. It was very Jesus-y. New Year's Eve was my mother's birthday, so she turned a big 68 years old. So we had a huge shindig in the basement, and that's it. You can't ask for a better time.
Is it a big Italian get-together? Does everyone come in?
Absolutely. So my mom is one of 10, and my dad is one of 15.
Oh, and do they all? And pretty much, basically, they're all there.
Yeah. My mother's side is my dad's from Boston, Massachusetts. So
okay,
yeah.
So they all
my
come
mom's
in.
10. Yeah. So my mom's 10. So there was easily, no exaggeration, Machine Gun. I think there was 75 people here. Maybe a little more, but it was like 75 when I counted.
That's so fun, though, isn't it?
And that's normal, though, for us. Well, I got 38 cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you close with all of them?
For a majority, yeah, the ones that aren't degenerates, yeah, for the most part, yeah, totally.
Because I didn't grow up very close with cousins. I would see them. I'd see them once a year. And I loved them. I still say I love you to them. But being super super close, I never understood because I just didn't grow up around them all the time. And so when people tell me that their cousins are here, I met one of your cousins, great dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
he talks about you guys constantly. Loves y'all.
Yeah, and so when people talk about growing up with their cousins, I don't really understand it because I'm quick to say, "Listen, it's just a cousin," and they go, "Dude, I grew up. He's like a brother," and I go, it's just a cousin."
That's what it is. No, you grow up with these folk, and because we're all the same age. We're like maybe 2 or 3 years apart, if that. So
I'm going to start something. It's going to start something new now. Machine Gun said it's just a cousin. It's just a cousin.
It's just a cousin.
It's just a
cousin.
Maybe cut him off.
Cut them off. That's it, guys. When you invest, make sure it's $3,000 a month, and it's just a cousin.
Yeah,
it's just a cousin.
Just a cousin. It's just a cousin. Cut them off.
You know what you got to do? You got to do a family gathering now at your palatial estate. You got to have all the Allegras come from far and wide.
Well, so we were just on the cruise. I did the big cruise for Christmas, and
With
that was so much. It was all the kids, so it was a lot, and it was a lot. And I would never tell anybody to not do the cruise, and I would say do the cruise. And the cruise was fun, but you're with a 1-year-old on the cruise, it was just a little tough. I mean, it's fun to have him and take him around, and it wasn't a super kid-friendly cruise. Like there was a one play area for kids, and again, the boat's so big. By the 4th day, I started to figure it out, but by the 4th day, you're getting off the boat. And so trying to find activities that the kids truly like, and being a sober brother, in all honesty, I'm trying to figure out what to do that doesn't just entail, hey, what's the coolest bar to find, which of course, if I was still drinking, the cruise would be incredible, in my opinion. Right. And it's not that it was boring, because it was still very cool. It's just, I'm a different human now, and trying to find kid-friendly things to do during it just was kind of, I would rather have been at home.
How many rooms did you get for the kids?
Well, we had, it was me, my brother, his wife, his 2 kids, me, my 7, my mom, and my stepdad. So in my own room, we would play musical rooms. So like me and my wife and my so we had three for us. So two or three to a room depending on who was sleeping where. Like
Yeah.
so but each night she kept the baby, and maybe one of the older kids, and then it would be me and the 6-year-old and maybe the 10-year-old, or maybe me and the 10-year-old, and then the 6-year-old wanted to stay with the 14-year-old. It just was musical rooms.
Yeah.
And it
Chaos.
was, but it was, yeah, typical, usual
You flipped the bill
insanity.
for you flipped the bill for this whole thing? Your brother, your mother, like everybody, you flipped the bill for this?
Well, I
Yes. Yes.
thank you to Bitcoin.
What a Christmas present. We're all going on a cruise.
Well, you got to remember too, because do the kids look at the cruise as the Christmas gift? Let's be honest.
No.
No, of course not. So the second we got home, it was right to the gifts that we had under the tree, that was also fun. It's just, holidays now are just crazy. It's just, I don't know how to explain
It's
holidays.
inflated. It's really overwhelming. And then there's like a stimulus thing that just blows your brains.
There,
And even I experience it. I have no wife, I have no kids, and even still it was overwhelming at times because family's coming over, and like you're trying to also deal with like family stuff, and like your mom is a complete like clean freak, so you got to make sure like everything's neat, and she does everything, and it was just like, okay, just calm down. As it's supposed to get easier as you get older, but it doesn't. If anything, it just intensifies.
It just intensifies if everyone can just find a way to just somehow find peace. But I look at it as like this. It starts around Halloween, and then there's Thanksgiving, and then Christmas comes and hits you. And then all of a sudden you got New Year's, then I got my birthday, then Valentine's Day, then an anniversary. And it's like all year round, it just kind of
Right, but
continues.
also too, you don't stop because your kids are athletes and they're playing baseball or football or basketball year round.
They
So,
are.
like, anytime we're in the text, you're on the move with one of them, like, trying to get them to the next activity. And you got
Always.
years of this to go. Like, this is
Ye-
not stopping for you.
Years of this to go. And this is a whole new world for me now, being injured, and I'm also home. This is the most I've ever been home
Are you used to it now?
in my life. I don't think so. No, I
Do
don't
you
think
look
so.
at it? Do you look at them and you look around, right? And you see your wife, and sometimes she'll probably nag you, and you think to yourself, "My God, if I can just be on the road with the boys right now, if I
Well,
can be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or just some podunk town bumping right now, God,
yeah,
I just wish."
it's not so much. It's not so much that I wish I could be doing that. It's just
Just
I've
wanna get out of
done
the house.
I've done it for so many. I've just done it. I've been on the road for. It's now, this feels way out of anything I've ever done. But again, I think we've said this on the pod each week. The WWE schedule ain't the same that it used to be. Like, the house shows aren't what they used to be. The amount, since TKO bought WWE, or they merged with UFC, that the amount of house shows isn't the same
No,
at all.
they don't have a
So
house show until March now.
no, and so the amount of time that we were on the road was pulled anyway. So that was, even just that in itself was just a little different, just because I've always been on the road, then this injury comes, and I'm just home all the time. But I have to look at it as an absolute beautiful blessing, because I get to be home, and I get to see the kids. They get to see dad. Still get a nice paycheck. I still have enough money to invest into the stuff I want to invest in. I get to continue this beautiful life of sobriety,
Yeah,
which I've just submerged myself in now.
good. You're
And
supposed
so,
to.
there's not even there's no thought of having a drink even. So now I'm just in.
Right.
And so
So
now
what
here and so
is
here
that
we are.
something are we ever gonna deep dive into?
Yeah, of course, just not today.
Just not today. They're right.
Just-
It's funny though because you sit there and you think, even I get it when I'm like, damn, I used to think about how much we were on the road together.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we were on the road together fairly often, maybe twice a month. And even that, when that slowed down for me, and I'm home, or I was around, you know, my lady when I was dating her, and she had her 2 kids, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, this is every day."
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the luxury of just running to an airport and having 2 or 3 days with the brothers and just, you know, potting or filming something or producing something. And now it's like you're home and you're like, "Oh god,
And now I'm just here
what do we have to talk to each other?
all the time.
Well, like oh god, I gotta take you to school. I gotta pick you up. We gotta do
Yeah.
homework.
Well, of course.
No, what is this?"
And then on top of that, you don't even have a cold brewski in the middle of it all. It's like, woo. And
No,
you're
there's
not a
nothing.
drinker. You're not a drinker anyway, correct?
No. I think the last time I had anything, I think it was a glass of wine with you, uh, LG, and Jay White. I think that was the last time.
Oh wow. Did we have was Jay White on the podcast then?
No, Jay White. We were all just hanging out in Dallas.
Oh, that's incredible. The amount of people that have come through and stopped by talking shop, and we never even really
No, but you've
mentioned.
never had them on. Like,
I know.
it's incredible to me how this is a show that has struck lightning in a bottle, not once but 3 times,
Yes.
and we still never had Tama on, never had Ferg, never had Jay. It's just, you know, just your boy. They just never had Fale, Nakamura, Uncle Allen. It's just
So this gives me a perfect opportunity for an announcement. So a text has been sent, and a text back has been sent. A reply has been sent back with an accept of the invitation to come on Talking Shop. Just when we're not 100% sure.
Can we announce?
It could be tomorrow. Yeah, I think we have. Of course, we're going to announce it because it's either going to happen or it's not.
Right.
So a text to AJ Styles, Uncle Allen, was, "Hey, Uncle, listen, will you come on and just mess around with us a little bit, talk about Netflix or anything you want to talk about?" He said, "Of course." And so that's where it's at. So
because he's injured too.
Yeah. Oh no, he's got the time. It's just, are we gonna set this thing up? I think we are, and I think we're gonna surprise everybody with how soon. Is it gonna be this week? Well, maybe not. Will it be this week? Maybe it will be.
You know, a heads up would be nice so I could prepare certain things.
Of course.
Just throwing that out there. You know?
And a deep dive with Uncle Allen would be amazing.
Just not today.
It's not today.
No.
Just sometime down the road. Emilio, have you kept up with wrestling lately?
I have. I watched WrestleKingdom last night.
Did you? Now, I did 9 of those, but who's counting?
Right. Do you ever get the itch around this time? Like, you miss Japan and you get like the FOMO and you're like, damn, I should be at the Dome right now.
Yep.
How is that during, like, you know how like over here in the States, we make WrestleMania week out to be this big gamuria, right? Everybody comes far and wide. How is it there? You've done 9 of those things. Is it as big as a spectacle? Because I see it on social media. When Kenny came out and did the press conference, the camera pans to just everybody at the press conference, and it's just a sea of people. It's easily just a sea of reporters, and they're just all glued on Kenny Omega coming out to talk to Gabe Kidd. And I was like, wow, I have to experience one of these because this looks like an unreal scene.
Yeah. Now, is anything comparable to WrestleMania? I have to say no. Nothing compares to WrestleMania. Now, does the Tokyo Dome, does WrestleKingdom in Japan, is that the biggest thing you're going to see comparable to WrestleMania? Yeah, especially in Japan. Now, with that said, see, this is where the journalist stuff is good. We're going to start drawing lines in the sand when we start giving our opinions. I just don't listen, guys. Stick with us here. All right, do it. Just learn to love the Good Brothers. All right, let's just love us right now. Accept our happiness right now, because someday the Good Brothers and Emilio are going to be on radio We're going to be on radio 5-6 days a week. We're going to be on for 3 to 5 hours a day, and we're going to be giving our opinions, drawing lines in the sand. All right. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I wish WrestleKingdom was only one night. And now everyone's going to say, but and I understand you got so many matches. I get it. But you got to remember, this Tokyo Dome is a 60,000 seat arena. They probably get about 20 or 25 in there at this point. At that point, it looks amazing. Don't get me wrong. I just wish it was only one night. I wish it was only one night. With that said, each year around Christmas, I start getting that same feeling of I have to get on my flight on January the 1st, because I would usually fly out January 1. I'd land in Japan January 2. January 3, we do the big WrestleKingdom press conference, which always felt very big. And especially before I came to WWE, it was massive. Now that I've done WWE, I'm not saying nothing else isn't. Everything else is still big. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, now that I've done wrestle, that's why we're such great journalists, right? Balls deep. We've seen everything, and we've seen it all, and we've not just kind of felt it. We haven't just kind of felt all of it. Like, I've literally done it all, so I can feel it, and I can tell you what it's all about. There's nothing like WrestleMania, not even comparable. But there's nothing like walking out of the Tokyo Dome and feeling that aura and being able to walk down that big aisle. And now Kenny Omega is a star in Japan that I don't think people really understand that. And I don't even think Kenny took it as far as he could have taken it, because this guy can speak legitimate, full-blown, articulate Japanese. And that's what's so impressive about that.
Now, so I'm just always, because I like the difference, right? And the juxtaposition of both, where like we're used to what we see here, because it's the biggest spectacle in sports entertainment, and it's gotten bigger and bigger in the last 10 years. It's really became like the thing to do, where athletes and celebrities pull up and they want to experience a WrestleMania. But as just a wrestling fan, like you, I've experienced 10 WrestleManias, got very lucky to experience 10 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
But, I just want to know, as a wrestling fan, the difference. And from the performer aspect, you've done WrestleMania, you've done Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously, it's a performance. But, like, how are the nerves for both? Is it the same? Is it a little bit different? I mean, you got to defend a championship against one of your best friends.
Yeah.
While you were under contract as a WWE superstar.
Yeah. Think about that.
How did that even come about? Like
the never openweight champion as a WWE contracted superstar. Give me a break.
That you'll never see that again.
No, you'll never see it again. Ever.
Now I know Takeshita just won it, so he is now the current IWGP Never Openweight Champion, and he's also the AEW International Champion. But they have a working relationship together.
Yes.
But
yes.
So how did that come about? Because you guys signed, you were champion when you signed.
Yeah.
So, but you were champion for a while until you signed.
Because we've never even done a deep dive on that at all, have we?
No, you never discussed it.
Maybe a small one. I think I won the title. It would have been maybe some historian can look back at it, but when we deep dive, I will. I believe I won it around July, possibly August from Tama. Maybe before that. No, maybe it must have been May. Maybe in May. See, I really can't remember. Let's just say I won it from Tama Tonga in June in Osaka. And people forget too, this was during COVID, when people weren't even allowed to cheer. Especially in Japan, they were still taking the COVID restrictions very, 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 very seriously. That's when I'd landed in Japan and tested positive for COVID. And so I got put into a Japanese government hotel for 8 nights, got out, had 3 nights, had 3 days free, and then went and wrestled Tama. And I was so blown up I could barely breathe at the end of that. I was a never openweight champion since, let's just say, July of 2022. I defended it against Tanahashi in, let's just say, maybe Tokyo. I'm not sure where.
You won it June 12th
June
at
12th. I was
Dominion.
right.
At
Okay,
Dominion. You won it
Dominion,
June 12th at Dominion.
which is in Osaka. And then I defended it one time against Tanahashi in probably August or September of 2022. And so right before then, our Impact contract had ran out in July. So I won the Never Openweight Championship in June of 22. Our Impact contract was finished in July of 2022. We were offered another 2-year deal with Impact. We decided against that because it didn't work out with the dates that we wanted. We wanted to be able to hit all of the main big shows for New Japan. We kind of wanted to be more focused on New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was exactly what we wanted to do. And if we would have signed that deal with Impact, they wanted us to make sure we were in the States for all of the big Impact pay-per-views. And that was something we couldn't promise. So we told Impact, let's just hold off on anything serious until January. And so we'll do New Japan Pro Wrestling as hard as we can all the way to January of 23. So our Impact deal runs out in July. The very last day of Impact, at our Impact TV tapings, we get a text message from Triple H. And that was, we looked down and said, hey, are you guys free for a chat anytime soon? And that was out of nowhere, and we had, of course, we talked with AJ here and there about what days were, when we were free, when we weren't free, but we didn't know all the inner workings of WWE. And it wasn't something that was on our bingo card at all that we for us to even think about, because we thought we were just going to go do full-blown New Japan stuff and just stay with New Japan stuff. Then we saw the text from Triple H, and we said, well, do you want to talk tonight or tomorrow when we get home? We're at our very last TV taping today. I think we had a match with the Motor City Machine Guns, funny enough. And that was our final Impact match. And Hunter said, yeah, let's just chat tomorrow when you guys get home and you're good. So we finished up our match with the Motor City Machine Guns, flew home. 2 p.m. the next day, Hunter set up a group FaceTime, and bam, right there, we talked, and it was like, are you guys free? It's like, yeah, well, we are free. I know we didn't have a contract with New Japan at all. We didn't even have verbal dates set up. I knew that I was going to take this Never Openweight Championship all the way to the Tokyo Dome and drop it to Tama. Excuse me. But certain dates were not put in place. Nothing was signed. Nothing was, hey, you're going to do this or this. There was no contract written up, nothing at all. It was all verbal and all handshake. And so Hunter asked, when are you free? And we were like, well, we're free now, but I have this. And he goes, well, let's just figure that out, but we'd love to have you guys back now. And so I think we had to go do an England tour really quick for New Japan, a couple of, I think, whatever they call the New Japan England stuff. Then we had the one more week of New Japan something. And then we were free October 10th. And that's how it all got signed up. And I called Rocky right away. I was like, dude, I need to talk to you about this. Because Rocky Romero, who was full-blown office guy, who used to be really funny. It used to be funny to tell people his email and then tell them to email Rock for bookings. And he thought that's not funny anymore at all, because he really is so busy now that it's not funny at all. But when Hunter asked us for what day we were free, and we all figured out that October 10th was okay, and that it was going to all be okay, no problem. I could keep the title. I would do this date, do a date in November, then do a date in January, and everything was verbally agreed upon, and it was no problem at all. And it turned into this insane thing online that I was holding up New Japan for the title and all that. But that's where I started. That's when I realized that fans take things one way.
Yeah, they blow everything out of proportion, because
and
even
I was.
I mean, even journalists were hitting me up that I never speak to, and my DMs were blowing up, and they were like, "Hey, Is there anything could you give us any information on this? And I had no idea what was even going on, you know? I mean, we spoke in the summertime that, yeah, this is what was happening, but I would tell these people, I have no idea. If I did know, do you think I would tell you?
Oh, come
I'm
on.
not gonna,
They
like,
think.
no.
You think you
So,
would? You know, it's what's I think what was so silly about all that was I got some intense messages and some really intense messages about what a piece of crap I am,
yeah,
and it was funny because it led into it led into how big of heels and how hot we really were at that time. If you look back at the end of 2022 when we won those titles, when I won that title, and we did the New Japan thing, and I told people that I wasn't going to come defend the title, and then go to the Tokyo Dome, and then we show up on Raw. I mean, that it was like we were
well,
pretty hot, man.
I think what the issue was, right, was when you played it up as a heel and said you weren't going to defend the championship
Yeah,
and you were going to do the Saudi show in
yeah,
November.
yeah.
That's when you got all this heat, and that's when people saying you were holding up the title and Carl Anderson's being selfish. And we looked at it as this is just good exposure.
It was, but I think what's funny too is that people thought that it was my decision that that I was running both of these companies. You know, I was
Yeah.
thinking if I was in charge, don't you think if I had any kind of say, I'd be getting a little more of a position in WWE
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
a little more thought of and creative. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and then you defended the championship in December against Hikuleo.
Yep.
Shout out to Hikuleo,
So
and
I think
then
what happened is New Japan announced a date without
yes,
talking, and that was an actual miscommunication because
yeah,
things do get lost in translation sometimes.
yeah,
And I think Rocky, who is the in between guy, something got mixed up to where New Japan just announced this date that I was going to make this date, but this was the date that I had to go to Saudi Arabia for WWE, and it was like I can't do this date, guys. Crap. And so then they changed it. They made me do a promo, and I said I wasn't coming. And I think if you look back in history, there were times where if you miss a championship match in New Japan history, they strip you. Of
right,
course, that's best because fans forget that this is a war.
right.
Guys, this is a war. This isn't real, right? So is this still? Am I still having to tell people this? Like, how
Yes, you
come he
do.
wasn't stripped? Well, I wasn't
Yeah.
stripped because in the storyline, it was because you guys forget it. This is a story. They just forget. It blows me away, Emilio.
Yeah,
Like, how am I? Why do I have to have this conversation? Oh, here we go. Hear that?
yeah. What's going on in your house?
There's a fire alarm going off. It's like, my wife's making a grilled cheese,
Grilled cheese.
But if New Japan was really hot at me, guys, they would have stripped me of the title, and I mean, which is a title I don't really own anyway because it's not really mine because I was told I was allowed to win it. Why do I got to explain these things to grown adults? So Gallows goes, my God, stop! You're breaking kayfabe. Enough of the kayfabe stuff, guys. This is
Right,
ridiculous.
right,
This is
right.
ridiculous. We're all grown men here and women.
Yeah.
Is what we do is we tell the greatest story in the entire world.
But it worked though. You know,
It did work.
if you think about it, it's like, oh, he's running scared from Tamatonga. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to face him. He doesn't want to lose, right? This WWE superstar has this championship. He thinks he's better. He's making all this money. He's showing
Mm.
up doing all this stuff. So, like, your reaction there, even though you're universally loved in Japan, there was a smidge of booze,
Oh,
and then Tama came
certainly.
out as this like hero. And then when
Yeah.
he won the match, like the crowd just exploded.
Yeah.
And how many times could you get to say that you got to be a contracted WWE superstar defending a very cool title in another promotion for one of the biggest shows?
No, you can't. And I got I'm still a I still had a lot of goals in my career. I've done most things that I ever wanted to do. And I probably would have been okay if this never happened, but being able to have a singles, I mean, like I said, I've had 9 WrestleKingdom Tokyo Dome matches, and so 8 of them were tag team matches. My first one ever was an 8-man with Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash, and that was, 6 or 7 months after I was probably the brokest man in the world. And if you would have told me in 6 or 7 months down the road, I'm going to be at WrestleKingdom in the Tokyo Dome in an 8-man match against Kevin Nash and Kurt Angle, like I would have probably, people would have made that doesn't even sound reality. Like, this is, so being able to do all the things that I did, it came out of nowhere. So, I mean, these were, everything I've ever done has all been dream come true stuff that I never expected to really truly happen. I just hoped would happen.
This wasn't the first time they wanted to put a singles championship on you, correct?
No, so I've always heard that they wanted to put a couple on me. They wanted to put.
I know they wanted to put the IC and the United States Championship are two of the ones they wanted to put on.
Yeah, so I'd heard there was little rumblings in 2013 of a possible heavyweight because I started to get over a little bit. I'd heard there was a possible chance for a 1-month switch for me to be the IWGP heavyweight champion and then switch it back. But that, of course, didn't happen. Doesn't matter. That's like like I want to make fun of people for fantasy booking. Anything could happen. I could say anything I want. It doesn't matter. I was going to be the IWGP United States champion. I was going to have a singles match with Moxley at the Tokyo Dome, and that would have been. But then that's if we would have signed a different deal back in 2019, and then what if the world would the world still have shut down? I might not have even gotten that match out of, after COVID or if before COVID or whatever it was. But this was my first singles New Japan title. And I've been there for 8 years and then, 10 years, if you consider the other two.
Yeah. But it's mind boggling when you think about it, because you can't make this up, right?
I know.
You can't make it up that, you're a WWE superstar who has a singles championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And get to walk back out at
right.
Barclays at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, October the 10th.
Yeah. Thanks for the text message to say, hey, come see us, by the way. Appreciate it.
As a New Japan Pro Wrestling champion, to walk out to a massive reaction, I'm always going to say.
It was big. It was huge. I had to watch it from my house, but, hey, even though I'm like not even 20 minutes away from Barclays, but hey,
are you?
Sorry. Yeah.
We got snuck in that day. I remember we got snuck in, and then they said we need to rehearse. And then we walked out and said hi to everybody anyway. We're thinking, well, why did we sneak in the building?
I would have bought tickets to that. I didn't need your comps.
Trust me. Then I've seen them kayfabe people, and I'm thinking, me, I'm pretty open when I think about things. I'm thinking, why are you kayfabing that person? No one even knows who they are. I mean, God.
One day you guys will deep dive both.
Someday
we'll debut and the return. Just not today.
Not today. We can't do that. Not today. No. Not at all. I want to get to something.
What's up?
I saw something on Twitter. Don't forget, guys, hit up our Twitter. # Talking Shop. We need to catch up on those. We have a ton of emails that Big LG and I are going to get to, probably when we're deep diving with Uncle Alan tomorrow or the next day.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. But listen, # Talking Shop or @Talking Shop. TALKNSHOP. If you're going to email the boys, talkandshop goodbrothers@gmail.com, TALKNSHOP, goodbrothers@gmail.com. I got a tweet. Good brother, thank you for the intermittent fasting. This is from @Krusty23. Hello, Krusty23. Good brother, thank you for the intermittent fasting breakdown on the pod. I'm trying it myself. Question: if you work out in the morning, do you still wait until dinner for your full meal? What about post-workout recovery? That's a great question.
It's great. Super great.
That's a wee great question. And so, like I said, with it, I'm not a diet genius. I'm not a workout genius. I'm a normal brother that has had a big gut, and I've had 8-pack abs. And trust me, and it's been drug-free the times I've had the eight abs. The times I've been juiced to the max, we'll deep dive that some other day. That way down the road. It's been decades ago. No, I'm just kidding. Just ribbing on the square. Intermittent fasting. The easiest way to get lean. Just do this. Wake up. Wait until 2 p.m. Have yourself a nice snack, an apple, a banana, maybe just a ham sandwich, but don't eat anything else. Just that. Just do a ham sandwich and an apple.
Okay. I do it a little different. My my
Yeah, agreed.
I intermittent fast until about maybe 1, 2 o'clock, depending on what time I get up. Um,
Perfect.
and then what I'll do is I do a half a cup of oatmeal, egg
Good.
whites, and then 2 whole eggs, and then I go to the gym.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
No, exactly. If that and that works for you, that's
that's
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
My brother started to get a big gut, and he said, "Chad, what do I do?" I said, "Dude, just try this." He wakes up at 6 a.m. anyway, right? I said, "Just go to work and don't eat anything." Everyone thinks, "Oh my God, I'm going to chew my arm off. How am I going to be able to do it?" Trust me, you're not going to starve to death. I can promise you that. If you've got diabetes or you're diabetic, you got low sugar or high sugar or whatever, you need to keep your blood sugar stable for real, like, because of a actual medical thing, then you got to do what you got to do. But if you're a normal human, you're fine. You ain't going to starve to death. I can
Right.
promise you that.
Right.
Don't touch anything. Just go all day. Drink as much water as you possibly can. Just pee a bunch. If you're dying, have 1 apple. Have 2 apples. If anything, have 3 apples. It's only 300 calories. There's no
They're good
fat in
for
it.
you. They're good
Trust
for
me,
you.
have an apple. But don't eat anything. Then as soon as you get home at 6:30 or 6 p.m. or 6:30, have yourself a magnificent meal. A big steak, a big steak, a baked potato or a sweet potato, and then wait until like 8 p.m., have yourself a banana and peanut butter. But you can't snack in between. If you do that for 1 month, you're going to have abs, I promise you. So on your question, when you say that, if you work out in the morning, do you still wait until dinner for your full meal? What about post-workout recovery? Post-workout recovery, listen, I am a part owner of maxeffortmuscle.com. I'm always trying to sell people protein and supplements because they're good for you. I'm going to tell you this, though. The post-workout protein stuff is a myth that bodybuilding.com and protein magazines have forced people, have thrown at people to sell their proteins. You don't need anything after. If you're going to work out in the morning, work out in the morning. Don't have anything. When you get home
No,
at night, eat.
no. The only thing that I like to do is increase my dextrose after a workout.
That's great.
So I'll have like maybe I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 or even 5 dates with not almond butter, with sunflower butter, because I'm allergic to all nuts and seeds and things like that. So
Yeah, see, and
can't
that's
have that
cool.
stuff.
I understand that
But
too. And again, I think once you got it, I'm only trying to dial somebody in.
yeah,
That's when I got to say you got to make the rule of nothing until you eat. And that
mm,
once you figure that out, do it for a month. Once you can prove to yourself that you can do that, of course, after you work out, you can have yourself a protein. It's just sometimes when you have yourself that first protein that breaks the fast, and that does weird things to people psychologically, their blood sugar, it makes them want something else, and then they want something else. Next thing you know, you start to snack all day. I promise, I've done it. The best thing you can do is just, if you want to get started, hold that fast, baby. Hold that fast till dinner. And don't worry about a post recovery. But like Balls Deep says, yes. But I think if to get somebody going, to get a brother going in the right direction, just fast, intermittent
also too,
fast.
the benefits of fasting are they're just proven too, because after you go, I don't know, let's just say X amount of days, right? Like I've done a few days where I haven't eaten and it was just a water fast. What happens is now your body goes into ketosis. So now you're, instead of burning, let's say, the calories that you're eating, now you're burning the fat, and the fat is turning into fuel. So now that's when your body goes into a ketosis state.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Balls Deep
it's good to
knows.
read up on. Yeah,
This is brother. This is brother science. Listen, we both know we've both been a little out of shape, and we've
yeah,
both been ripped. And so I
yeah.
mean, I'm telling you exactly what's going to work. You just if you do exactly that, just wake up. If you work out at 5 a.m., awesome. Because like I said, when I work out at 3:20 a.m., I don't eat until about 1 p.m. So I'm up for 9 hours or 10 hours before I touch something.
Yeah,
If
same.
you can just wake up, don't eat anything at all, man, and then 6 p.m., have a nice big meal, then before bed, a banana, peanut butter. I'm telling you, in a month, you're going to start seeing things pop out that you didn't realize could pop out. My brother used to be a heavy brother, and now my brother is a ripped up dude, and he does nothing except that, and that got him rocking.
What are we looking like with that under that hoodie right now? We're getting
we're looking good. We're
Yeah.
looking good. We're looking good. And so
High
I've got a
tight.
couple of
High tight.
kayfabe things I don't want to show off yet because I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm saving that for the return.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we can't. We got to. Yeah, just like if wrestling's real or not, we're going to kayfabe what I got under this hoodie.
All right. I'm definitely gonna see after we stop recording.
Oh, you're gonna see it. All right. I got one more tweet.
Yeah.
I got this is from @Will Botello. He said, little follow up, guys, from the emails, Hoots. I'm not sure which email he's talking about, but he wrote, I was definitely legit LOLing and ha-ha-haing typing out that email. Too sweet, boy. So I think there was an email where he kept writing. Then he'd write LOL. Then he'd type some more, and he'd type LOL. And it got me and Big LG laughing. So I'm thinking, is he really just giggling his little ass off as he's typing his little email, just giggling away? So cute, you know?
Yo, I had tears coming down my face for the Christmas episode when you guys were
Toothless
Stone Cold, but then you guys got on me about sleeping.
Well, so that got me laughing too. So I watched it. I listened to it back, and I started giggling, thinking about how you said you do your breathing. That's what it was. I did my breathing.
My breath work.
I did my breath work.
My breath work.
I did a little breath work, and then I took a nap. It made me tired.
That's it. It does. It makes you tired. You got to.
So did you sleep today, Emilio, or are you going to go to sleep now?
No, I passed out. After the main event, I passed out and I woke up, and I'm good now for the day. I'm refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to go.
Well, good. Can you fill me in on because we got WWE's coming up with a big Monday.
Huge Monday.
I mean, this is Nextlfix. My boys, I told the boys. So my oldest son, who they used to be, they're still fans of me. They used to be massive fans of wrestling. I'll say they're not as big as they used to be. And my youngest ones are not into it at all, just because, the schedule's different and I'm home more and I don't have it on the TV as much. But my 13-year-old said, Dad, Silas, Sisai, he said, Dad, so there's a chance you're going to be on Nextlfix? And I said, son, is that cool? He goes, yeah, you're going to be on Nextlfix. Are you sure? And I go, boy, I've been on cable TV since 2016. What do you mean? What do you mean? So, but that's how different this world is now. This streaming platform of Nextlfix, which is bad. Don't get me wrong. It's badass.
But don't forget you were also on network television with Fox, too.
That's what I'm saying. I just was like, I was on Fox just, 3, 4, 5 months ago. I mean, Dad's a little hurt right now. Or I was just on USA and the CW or whatever I was doing on NXT. I mean, what do you mean I'm going to be on Nextlfix? How about your dad's been a Rolling Stone for a decade here, bud? But that's what's so cool about this $5 billion 10-year deal that WWE has with Nextlfix. Like we just saw with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and how the NFL was just on Christmas Day with Netflix. Nextlfix is obviously the place to be. And I mean, how big is this Monday?
Well, I mean, to put it like this, WWE always has their finger on the pulse, right?
Yeah.
And you could tell that cable TV is dying a slow death. And now with more like intellectual properties going to all the streaming sites, right? Like the NBA going to Amazon. I think that was a huge shift in streaming culture. So when WWE announces that they're leaving, literally they owned USA Network. Like there was no other program. Like it was them, and Chrisley knows best. But it was WWE. So
for years.
For decades. I think WWE is almost the longest running episodic television program, second to Gunsmoke.
Think about that, and I bet a lot of our listeners have no clue of what Gunsmoke even is.
It's an incredible stat that Michael Cole once said, and then I double checked, And yeah, I'll always remember that stat. So to see them go to Netflix and then the rollout, and then you go on Twitter or X, and then every time you would hit a like post, it was the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a
Yeah.
shift in culture. It was a shift in marketing. It was so well done. So to
Yeah.
see that, like the rollout for Netflix at the headquarters with Punk and Seth really leading the charge. Like that's one of the matches that I'm very excited to see. John Cena makes it's the start of Cena retirement season. The tour starts January 5th, Netflix, Los Angeles. Very excited to see.
Well, see, that's cool. See, I got a text from one of the TR guys. I said, he said, "Hey, we got a slot for you guys in Stamford. We need you guys to fly and do some Netflix ID shots." I said, "Well, I just got shoulder surgery." He wrote back, "I had no idea," and I said, "Well, you guys got lots of plans for Old Machine Gun, huh?" You know what I mean? Since everybody knows what everybody knows what I'm up to. So I'm sorry, I didn't know. He's one of the TR brothers, but I said, no big deal, of course. But yeah, like you said,
that's incredibly cool though. Like you're gonna be on Netflix, dude.
Of course I am. I'm going to be on Netflix, but also I've been on USA for a decade,
Right, but your kids don't care about that. Your kids care about that they can go on Netflix and watch Dad.
I also did 10 Tokyo Domes, boys.
They don't care about that, though. They can just say that their dad is on Netflix. That's the flex. The flex is to go to school, even though they have this cool dad. He's all tatted up, got a hand tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Got a cold plunge, palatial estate, all the video games. The flex is to say, well, what does your dad do? Some might say, oh, my dad is a CPA. Oh, well, Allegra, what does your dad do? Oh, he's a wrestler. Can I watch him? Yeah, Netflix. Boom. Flex.
Yeah. Think about that. I mean, that's got to be like, well, me and Gallows always say, like, if our dads would have been us, like, we would have lost our minds. Like I was, again, don't get me wrong. We both love our dads who they are now. I'm just saying, I was an obsessed fan, just like I don't think I was as big as the Mark LG, but I mean, I was a fan, but I would have lost my mind if my dad would have been like Ric Flair or something,
Dude, if my dad was Dean Malenko, I would have just
the Iceman
exploded with excitement. I would have been like, "Do you remember Slamboree in Boston when you beat Jericho for the championship?"
Yeah, no, that's
championship.
Even for me, like growing up, dude, honestly, and then becoming friends with the guys. I mean, I used to fly on the private jet with Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko, and I consider them like, they're both, they were both like heroes of mine, and they're, and now they're both mentors and, friends, or that's trippy.
Yeah, it's
pretty
cool.
Trippy to be able to say that, to be able to text either one of them and know. Netflix is January the 5th.
No, Monday is it Jan 5th or the 6th?
January the 6th, just like I said, Emilio. Stay out of that. January the 6th. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's Jan 6th, Monday.
It's Raw on Netflix live from the Intuit Dome. Is this the brand new Clippers arena?
Brand new.
So I didn't even realize that. So they're not inside Staples anymore. Well, it's not Staples. What's it called? Crypto. Is it crypto.com?
It's the crypto, yeah.
Think about that, dude. The Staples Center or Crypto, one of the places where my first debut was in 2016 in WWE. Who else gets to say that? They have had 2 debuts in WWE. One was in Staples Center. The second one was in Brooklyn. Dude, get out of here. Both of them big pops, too. That's me. Okay, by the way here, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Who wins that one, Emilio? Does it go to a finish? Now it's hard. That's where it's hard to gauge our kayfabe work, right? Is it going to be a win? Is it going to be a cheat? Is it not going to happen? What happens there? It's hard to explain, right?
Yeah, and I hate to fantasy book because it's just not one of the things that I like to do.
It's annoying because it's not what we don't book it.
Right, and I would love to see them go all the way to WrestleMania because I think the promo that they cut on the final Monday Night Raw on USA Network,
I saw that.
I think really sets the tone with how good this program is going to be, or where it can go, and that they're finally going to meet face to face, and they're going to get it on in the ring. They're going to scrap. I think it's too good. You just can't make it a one-off just for the debut of Netflix. I think you can. It really has legs to go all the way to WrestleMania if they do it, and they don't even need a world championship to be involved in telling this story, because it's about bragging rights and bravado. And Seth Rollins was the guy that held it down when CM Punk left, and now Seth Rollins is saying you just can't come back here and think like you're going to run the roost again. There's us, there's guys like me, and there's Drew, and we're here, and we earned this right. You got to back of the line. So it's just cool stuff to see. Even when they went to Netflix and they did the thing at the headquarters, and they really got into it with each other. Rollins is really shows that he can wax poetics with arguably one of the greatest talkers in the last 15, 20 years.
Oh, they're both so talented in ring and unbelievable verbal skills. Well, I'm more concerned with, just take this in, to think about this, Emilio. How much Bitcoin do those boys have? Oh my God.
Yeah, I want to know, like, is that something that you text the brothers? Like, do you say, hey guys, like XRP is up, are you in?
So I haven't had an opportunity to sit and talk with Rollins, but I would say me and Rollins are as close of friends as you can be without being like friends.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
we don't text and say, hey, how are the Giants doing? Or how's it, whatever. I mean, like, as soon as we see each other, it's like we got a lot to catch up on, and we get it over as quick as possible. And I like to see him. He likes to see me. We're buddies. I would love to talk with him about something like Bitcoins. I feel like he is right on the pulse of it. And let's talk about Punk, who's always on the pulse of a lot of things. He has to have saw Bitcoin and
he's
either
very
thought
rich.
And either loaded up on it, or he's such a genius. He's thinking, it's a scam, and I ain't playing that thing. So I wonder. I think
you went for hot dogs with him. You didn't have that conversation with him?
I wasn't fully emerged in my new world yet. I was in my new world. I was just coming my new self.
Right. You were grasping your surroundings again. Right. Makes sense.
I was not fully myself, because you got to remember when you love to have a couple coldies, it's kind of like being in prison. and we'll deep dive on that, so I don't start getting emotional. We'll deep dive on that today, just not today.
Not today. But yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like, I think you're probably having without even saying it. Like, you're probably with Ferg. Ferg, XRP's up, United's up. Do a little bit of this.
Not
Uncle
with
Alan.
I can't do that with Fergie or Uncle Alan yet. I think the old Machine Gun knows a little bit more about that than both of them combined.
Well, that's why you got to start doing the seminars in the locker room.
I'm going to.
When you get
Rhea
back,
Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan.
She's into the Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, Rhea Ripley is. My only issue is I think she's making so much money right now. She might not think she don't need no Bitcoin. I need to get a hold of her and tell her, young lady, buy the Bitcoin.
Right. But she's also 26 years old, so like cryptocurrency has been there since she's, on her come up. So it's probably just like how we used to say, oh, you got to put your money in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's so funny. This is a whole other podcast now, though, because you grew up thinking you got to go to college, get your degree, and go get a job, because if you don't have your degree, you're not going to get that job. And now you start to think about it, and if you have that degree, sometimes that degree doesn't do anything for that thing. My wife has a degree and doesn't use any part of it, so it's so different how you're just push, and then bam, here you are, because it's all brought on to you by the elitists, not the super elite or the elite, but who? How about that? And how about this right here? A couple more: Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Come on, this is a big one. And so, have you been watching this storyline progress?
Yeah, I have.
Are you enjoying it?
You know what? Yes and no.
Tama Tonga on there all the time.
I think what they've done is a great job in establishing that Solo Sikoa was no longer just the background little brother, and he just wasn't the heater, that he could actually carry a program when Roman isn't there against his brothers or against a guy like Cody Rhodes, and he can work an incredible match with Cena. So to see him grow and develop in real time as he's doing that has been fantastic to see.
That's cool. Good brother, I think. Too.
Very cool, brother. Fed him a Dorito at Wale Mania a couple years ago. We totally did improv. He was down for whatever we wanted to do. He's like, we'll improv whatever you want to do. Really cool dude. It was a put over that like I did not think was able to happen. and he was yes ending me the entire time. All right, what do you want to do next? Like under his breath, all right, let's do something else. Let's do this next.
Good. Good.
So to see him do that, and then to bring in Jacob, and I worked with Jacob at MLW, incredible kid, super talented, can really do anything. And the moment when Jacob turns on Solo and becomes a face, that I hate you Solo thing is going to be over like gangbusters. Tama and Tonga, I think, has been real smart. I like them. I can't wait to really see what they do in the tag division once this bloodline storyline does come to a crescendo and it ends, because it seems like it's on the last phase now. And I think going into Mania season, because they're smart, they started it early. Mania season starts January 6th.
Yep.
So to see where they're going with it now, I want to see how it ends, because it's been dragging out a little bit now.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And what's the involvement of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Do we finally get, the original tribal chief, as everybody likes to call him, the head of the table, The Rock, against the OTC and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Who knows? Yeah. But it could be telling where they plant the seeds Monday, for sure.
I will tell you this much, boy, I would push Jacob Fatu to the moonski. Oh, goodness gracious.
So good. So
that
good.
is that's a super duper star.
Well, look at what he can do, right? He's incredible in the ring, and then he has this presence where he doesn't have to say much, but even though if you've watched his work, he can talk.
Yep.
And he's done what I like the nuances of performers. I like when they give you just like the little bit with their face and the body language. And eventually when they do give the kid a mic, it's over. You're going to hear how good he is. I've seen it at MLW.
Yeah.
He's lights out. He's lights out. The crowd was really behind him when he and Braun Breaker, I don't know if you've got a chance to kick it with Braun. He's a good kid.
Good kid.
And they got nose to nose on an episode of Raw a couple of months back.
Good.
And this place wanted to see King Kong versus Godzilla. And they were erupting for it.
That's like Triple H and The Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're young that's like their young self right there in each other's faces at probably the same ages ish.
Yeah.
Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, two big stars, guys have been around a long time, but have both came into their own now.
They've had incredible years.
Yeah.
2023 was incredible for both guys. You know what it is? And you know better than I do, right? Like when your work is so good, right? You should be, quote unquote, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you should be rewarded with a championship. But when also the champions are doing so good, what do you do with all this talent?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what is, well, let's just say it. Here we go. What is rewarding is being rewarded with a storyline or being rewarded with something. Just, sometimes you want to reward these guys. And if there is, sometimes guys don't need a championship. Sometimes guys don't need this, but superstars like both Jay and Drew need something. Do they need a championship? I don't know. Do they need this? I don't know. Do they need that? I don't know. If I was ever in charge, I'll tell you what I would do, but I think what you got to do with guys that you think deserve something or have earned something or owed something, I think you give them something. And what I mean by that is something. Give them a story. Give them something. And that's what they need. You got to have something for these guys. You got to have something for big guns to sink their teeth into. That's what I was trying to get at.
I just like how good both of them have been, right? Jey Uso, I was at Madison Square Garden, and I seen a sold-out Madison Square Garden the moment his music hit, just started yeeting. But they were chanting yeet the entire time before he even came out. It is super over. There's a sea of yeet glasses, yeet hands, yeet t-shirts. That's a cool thing to see, man.
There's people will be over even before they're even over, as in just talking to them. Jay has a lot of charisma when you just talk to the guy. Drew McIntyre has a lot of charisma when you talk to the guy. But most importantly, I do know what happened this year is Drew McIntyre signed a fat contract. So he's got a lot of money.
Crypto.
I might have to. Hey, he announced that, so I'm not even blowing kayfabe here. But I do know that I need to talk to Drew. Me and Gallows were texting about this today. We need to talk to Drew about
crypto.
Bitcoin.
Gotta get him into crypto, man. Gotta tell him, get the Coinbase, establish the wallet, and do this.
And trust me, and if I'll tell you this much, I'm gonna give this. Here's my investing advice for the day. If you've got cash just sitting somewhere, I don't know, man. Don't let it just sit there, because in 3 years, it's not going to be anything. Put it in Bitcoin. That's it right there. Bam. 4 years, it'll be appreciated. End of story. Balls deep. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. It was nice.
Thank you for sitting in. Hey, Talking Shop fans, dude, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for sticking with us. Trust me, we're going to keep, I promise you, we're going to keep showing up. Next thing you know, you're going to start seeing more of us, and then more of us, and then more of us. I already got messages of surprise. People were like, yo, is Machine Gun bored to death at home? Because I've never gotten this many new podcasts from the
shop. Yeah, no, it's insane.
From the boys at all. I promise you, they're going to continue coming. We have the greatest editor in the entire world of pro wrestling, besides the fact that Emilio's got verbal skills. He's got content creator skills. He can jump on with me and we can hang an hour. We could even go another hour if I didn't have more kids banging out my door on my office door. And Emilio didn't have to get his breath work in.
I get my breath work and I got to take a nap after that. It gets me tired.
Yeah, I'm a little sleepy now too.
It makes me
and the big LG, super sleepy. I promise you're going to hear from us. Get excited. Get excited when you listen to this podcast, because Uncle Alan's coming.
He's coming. We're going to do a countdown clock and everything.
It might not be the next one, but it might be the next one.
Hey, guess what though? We're also on YouTube now too.
YouTube, baby. We have got it's a slow burn of just consistent content, because trust me, love us right now, appreciate us right now, enjoy this right now, because soon it's going to be 5 days a week for 3 to 5 hours a day, and we're going to have to draw a line in the sand. And that's not what we're trying to do.
We want that Jim Rome money.
We just want that Jim Rome money, boy.
We want that Stephen A. Smith money.
That's a message I need to ask Jim about. I'm going to ask Jim about Bitcoin. I've asked Jim to come on Talking Shop. He said, I assume that means it's on Zoom. I said, yes. He said, I'd love to. And then I thought, well, what do I say now? Well, when?
Yeah, you just be like, here's what you tell him. You just be like, hey, listen, put me in touch with, or I can link you with my producer and you can talk to your person, and then we can set up a day and a time.
All we're asking Jim is 5 minutes, Jim. He would give it to us. I know he would.
Well, he'll give you more than 5 minutes.
I think he would. It's, and that's what be turning into a journalist now is just asking these guys.
Right. Just you have all these friends. I guarantee you could text Drew McIntyre and be like, hey, Drew, give us 10 minutes.
Yes, and he would. He would. I know that. It's just, we're trying to prove to the people that we can do it ourselves first.
How much more do you have to prove? We did close to 300 episodes by ourselves. In fact, it was just to see if you, Drew doing all his wacky characters and voices. Mr. Hankinson does characters. He's like that. It's like that scene out of Private Parts.
Stop yelling at me. You're making me want to do my breath away, Emilio.
gotta do the stoke.
Listen, you're gonna hear from me and the big LG. We have about 40 emails we got to get to, and and they're good ones. And don't forget, guys, send your audio to the email. Send us a take. Have a take. Don't let it suck. Tell us a story. Tell us something funny. I sent the one that we did with Emilio. It's got Reptile's audio. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. For Talking Shop World, for the Machine Gun, for the great Emilio, we love you guys. Thanks for sticking with us always. We're out.
Good Brother Coin.